Hello and peace greetings, everyone. Welcome to this episode. I am doing this for the last year or so. This is the 31st episode that we are doing through with people showing up, as well as every week from this month onwards. In fact, we started last month. I will be doing the first session with you. I'm going to be interacting with you. I'm going to share with you some personal take on this global peace conversation that we have been having for all these weeks and months. So I want to welcome you, and I want to thank you, and I want to tell you how much this means to me. It has been the huge therapy for me in my life, and today's conversation we'll be having is on assessing your mental health, which has been the talk of the world, not even talk of the town. It's the talk of the world about mental health and the needs and the awareness that is being created for people to see through and really work with us. So when we talk about mental health and assessing your mental health, that is a conversation that many people do not want to get to. People do not want to know about what's going on for them. We always are very fast at looking at others and wanting to assess others for their mental health, whereas we are not looking inwards. As you know, as we point at others and say something is wrong with others or something is good in others even, we're not reflecting back on what's going on for us. So this is where I thought that this segment that I'm going to be doing, and every month from July, and congratulations, we've completed 6 months of 2021 in the most magical, miraculous, and divine way. I would say divinely guided. So congratulations on that. Now we are starting. This is the 1st July week of the second half of 2021. So I'm so looking forward to sharing with you every month, the first week with you, and then the next 3 weeks we will have our guests join us. So coming back to the conversation on assessing your mental health, and I have it that every one of us have some level of issues. I'm going to use words very carefully because we embed these in our minds. And I was just reflecting on what's going on for me. And as much as I said, we can reflect for others, it's time for us to reflect for ourselves and what's going on for ourselves. We have realized, and I have realized, going through this situation of depression at different times in my life. Now, when I look back, I'd say, yes, there was an issue I was facing internally that was projected externally. This is actually the mind-body struggle. The mind-body struggle that doesn't want to accept what's going on, the internal spiritual self. So this is the detachment that has happened, and the mind and the body tells you things that acts out, that becomes a different part of you and makes you say and do things. And that is a complete detachment to the true being of who we are and who we are meant to be, what we're meant to be. So this is what I have realized. And when I got into the realization that this detachment happened, and I was going through the recent months actually, and I'm to a great extent coming out of it in a very smooth way, because I have kind of got the solution and got the know-hows of what's happening to me. So the first level, and when we want to assess ourselves, is we have to be brutally honest with ourselves, what's going on for ourselves, and really telling ourselves not to judge us, not to label us or blame ourselves, going into shame and guilt. It's really 100% acceptance and 100% in our own beingness that we are in that space of vulnerability. We are in that space of complete acceptance and knowingness, and having that clarity that this is what it is and how we can come out of the situation and unite with our true beingness. So what am I looking at when I talk about assessing our mental health? You want to look at how you are thinking and doing, are you congruent? Are you able to say things and being able to go by it? Especially, and there's so many parts in our life that congruency exists and don't exist. And as I said, this is all assessing without judging ourselves, without blaming ourselves, regardless of what blames and judgments comes from outside. It can be very, very, very disturbing. And I'm going to give you tips on how to overcome that too. Okay. So this is what we'll be doing. So assessing yourself from inside, and definitely we'll play the miracle game today for sure. And it's for you, and I will be choosing the number. So every week, every month, 1 week for me, and I will choose the number for you. Whereas the rest of the 3 weeks, our guests will choose the number for you. And you are more than welcome to put your numbers that come up for you into the chat box. I'll talk about it later. So coming back to the conversation of assessing yourself and assessing what's going on for you without blaming. So you want to see, is your words and your deeds congruent? And there are 5 areas of our life that we want to assess ourselves with. And these are the 5 intelligence that we teach, the framework in our conscious leadership program. The first one is emotional intelligence. How much are you emotionally detached and attached? How much of emotions are you projecting out to people or to yourself? This emotional intelligence is a very powerful dynamics, and maybe over the next few months, we'll break down all these 5 intelligence and speak about it. So the first is emotional intelligence. Next one is financial intelligence. As in conscious leadership and as a human being living in this, experience in the world, we want to be very clear that there is a level of financial literacy, financial intelligence, and it's a wisdom. Financial intelligence is a wisdom. It's not about learning about money, how to manage money. It's a little more than that. I would say a lot more than that. Understanding people's emotions around money. So the emotional intelligence connects with financial intelligence too. In fact, all these intelligence intertwine to be able to connect with each other so that they can make you a better human being, to perform yourself as to the maximum of your human capacity. So the financial intelligence is about money consciousness, about prosperity consciousness, it's about people, how you relate to people when it comes to material wealth. Those matters as much as it's taking care of your human spirit as a responsible human being. So many things involved in intelligence. Then the third one is spiritual intelligence. And I'll come to that in a while. The fourth one is physical intelligence, your body. What is your body telling you? How are you activated or energized by your body? That's the fourth one. And the final one is environmental intelligence. Environmental intelligence is about becoming aware what's going on for you. Are you living a life? Are you living a life that is in like a horse, only focused on yourself or the surrounding, or are you environmentally intelligent to see the world, to feel the world with you? And these are the 5 intelligence that we want to assess ourselves with when we are looking at our own mental health condition. Emotional intelligence, financial intelligence, spiritual intelligence, physical intelligence, and environmental intelligence. And I talked a little bit about spiritual intelligence. I'm going to expand it a little bit. Spiritual intelligence requires us to be not religious, but spiritual, which is very, very, very crucial. Thank you so much for joining in the conversation over LinkedIn, over Facebook, and over YouTube channel. And I thank you for being part of this conversation. This is the first time I'm talking about this. Thank you for acknowledging that, Dr. Monica. And it is a very important part of our life. And I have been experiencing, in fact, till very, very recently, I'm coming out of it, a depression conversation that was really piled up over the years. And I really recognize it. And it's a recognition of the situation that releases us, that relieves us and takes us to a whole new level of clarity. So when we talk about spiritual intelligence, it's not religious. It's about being one with yourself. Forget about the world first. being one with yourself. We have realized that mental health conditions or mental health conversation is going about because we are only focusing on mind and body. We need to rise above to recognize that there is something else in us that is connecting and making the whole thing make sense. For example, I want you to just think about this. And I love it when there was a conversation I saw in a YouTube channel. Can't remember who it was, but really thinking about it. If Azeeza, there is something in us, right? When somebody dies and the body, before the person dies and after the person dies, when you weigh them, they are the same. Yet, there's something in the person doesn't exist that's weightless that goes off and we become dead. So this is a very important analogy you need to know. There's something beyond us that's operating us, that the next moment I can just go flat and you'll not hear me, hear me do anything, right? So we need to know that the mental and physical conversation that we are having about mental health is very, very surface level. We need to go deeper into the understanding that mental health is into the consciousness, into a spiritual sense, something beyond us. We can call it soul, you can call it the spirit, something that is binding us together. And mental health issues show up because we are fighting the physical and the mental self. Absolutely. Mind, body, soul alignment is what we are looking at. So the soul, we need to give the importance to the soul, the spirit that's outside of us. So that's why, and I'm going to continue this conversation over the next few weeks as well, because I want to touch on it very deeper level. Yes, Kate, it's deeper level that we're talking about. And so I want to tell you 2 tips and go into the miracle game. And you can put out the number that you want to see seen. And I'm going to give you the number today. So drowning yourself with positivity. There's 3 things I've come up with for us to really embrace a new level of ourselves and what we need to do in order to come out of the situation that we are in. First of all, learning to detach ourselves. This is a huge level of awareness. And I can tell you, everyone is capable of it. You are capable of it. When you assess and you know that your mind, your body and your mind is not cooperating with you, the higher you want to be able to be control of the mind and the body. Your higher self is stronger than you think. And it can go about making you stronger in the way that you operate life. So don't give in to your mind and your body. You are bigger than that, number 1. So how can you do that? There's 3 P's that I want to just put it on the table, and we go into details further on this. First is prayers. Yes, you need to help yourself. Nobody can. And I say prayers, it can be meditation, it can be anything. And many people say, I cannot sit quiet and not do anything. Yes, because you are letting your body and your mind take over you. So the control is in your hands, the higher self hands. No, and when I'm talking to you, it's not your body or your mind, to your higher self. So even if you don't believe in it, I don't care. It's your higher self that I'm talking to. Your mind and your body can actually be in control of your higher self. So when you are praying, you're just surrendering, you're just giving up the mind and the body to the higher beingness that's ruling us, the higher supreme source, whatever you call it, something that is greater than us, right? That one that makes you talk and walk. And the moment when your soul is out and where it goes, you can give any meanings to it. It doesn't matter, but that's what it is. So knowing the detachment and going into prayers is number 1. Number 2, and I have found solace so much in this, and I feel that I'm alive because of that, because of people. Surrounding yourself with people that are full of love and peace and joy. You cannot find them, go look for them. Go look for the communities that is all about positivity, all about giving you the vibes and the energy that you need. We are put together in the world for interdependence. You take care of yourself and you take care of others. So this is also a pay forward thing. When you start doing prayers and get into your alignment, the moment you are getting into your senses, you can go into supporting others to get into their senses. And that's where people come together in unity. We see the world right now in small communities coming together. By the way, these communities existed many, many years now. I've known many communities around the world over the last decade. And only in the last 1-2 years, it's kind of coming up, which is good. So people are a very important part of our ecosystem. And you want to look for people and communities that you can become one with, and don't go around like hopping from one to another. Go look for them and let them find you instead of you finding them. People, surrounding yourself with people that practice love, peace, and joy. Absolutely. And every time you connect with people, you want to resonate. Because the first part, the more you're connected with yourself, the more people that you will attract who are in the love and peace. So these are very connected conversation. The third one that I want to leave you with, and jumping into the session, and I know this is usually a 30 minutes, we have another 15 minutes to go. So the third one is practices. What are the practices that you intentionally bring to yourself to ensure that you are able to get hold of yourself? Practices include, and I'm telling you everything that I have done, okay? Definitely breathing practices help. Slowing down your breath. Deep inhales and exhale through your mouth. This changes the mechanics that's running in your body, the heartbeat and everything. Most of the mental conditions that we go through are because of the heartbeat coherence. When we detach our heartbeat from the mental condition, we actually get into a more grounded self. So the important thing to change the heartbeat is to practice this breathing. Breathing through your nose, setting the intention of breathing in love and peace, and breathing out anything that is energetically not serving you. This gives you a powerful groundedness. You may even feel that my voice and my conversation with you will slow down. And then breathing is one part of the practice. And the second one, and the very, very important one, is to go to look for resources, be it video, be it music, be it people talking to you. Remember the first one I say, to look for people. If you can't find them physically, look for them on videos, on channels like these. And different people give you different vibes. And you know that when you're meant to hear them, they are meant to tell you something. So let go of judgments of who they are, what language, what religion. When they show up in your life, listen to them on videos and records and books. Some of us love to listen. Some of us want to see. Some of us want to read. Just go for it and drown yourself with positivity. That is the antidote of overcoming any kind of mental health challenges, or on, you see, we even have a taboo about talking about it, as in like mental issues. Well, we all go through, every one of us. There is a record, there's a recent video that came out with Oprah about mental health and everything I can see, or something like that. And it is definitely what they talked about. 80% of the world actually have gone through some level of mental health condition over their lifetime. So definitely this is something you want to be very clear about, and detaching yourself from the conversation and the shame and the guilt is the ultimate of it all. And where we want to go into a realization that we are not that. That is very, very important. And I'm going to jump into our game, and then we'll continue this conversation. I'm very excited to see what's the number that's going to come out for us today. Let me just get onto the book. So what is your number? As I always talk about it, and we know that when we are doing these conversations, we are always looking at, let me take a breather. When we are doing this, we are always looking at the messages the world has for us. It's always about what the message the world is giving us today. And I love sharing about the message from the world and what what the universe is going to tell us today. Let me take a deep breath in as we say. These are just messages, or rather these were messages channeled through me at a time when I was going through many different challenges of evolution in the 5 areas of my life. Physical, emotional, financial, environmental, and definitely physical, emotional, all the 5. Emotional, financial, spiritual, physical, and environmental. So I'm going to take a deep breath in, grounding myself. And for me, the question today is, what is the message I need to share with everyone? This will be my question every week. What is the message that I need to deliver today? And anyway, that's a question I always ask all the time when I am going into impromptu sessions. Okay, you know, we talk about numbers jumping out. I have a 6 jumping out today at me. This has come out quite a lot. Relationships are here to stay. As long as we go with our heart, allow love to prevail, all relationships will be nourished, nurtured, and blossomed into beautiful expressions of love. Thank you. Arula, I think one of you have put up, prayers are healing and causes harmony, definitely. And today's message that we talk about, relationships are here to stay. As long as we go with our heart, allow love to prevail, all relationships will be nourished, nurtured, and blossomed into beautiful expressions of love. This is very interesting, isn't it? We are talking about relationship with ourselves first. For me, that's how I'm reading this message. Getting yourself, the relationship with yourself is here to stay. You cannot ignore yourself from you. And I've always seen that as a very powerful conversation, because just gonna move that up. I'm gonna change it around. I think I can do that. Yeah. So people are here to stay. Environment is here to stay. And every relationship we think we meet is here to stay. And relationships, when we give them and we go with our heart and we give love as a nourishing conversation, regardless of what they do to us. I always believe that we are divinely guided to connect. As everyone who comes across our sessions, we are divinely guided to connect. The more we go about connecting with love, the more we can nourish and nurture the relationships. Because the moment we go into judgment, the relationship kind of gets cut off. So the same with us. The moment we judge ourselves, we will cut off our emotion. The mental condition comes in. Our mind comes in the way and tells us we are this, we are that. Phew, we are out of our own body. And we say, okay, go deal with it yourself, your body and your mind. And the self detaches itself. So when we are completely in our heart, in our beingness, when we are connected with our heart, there's no way we can judge ourselves and no way we can judge others. And that's the message that I feel is strongly coming out for me today, for everyone. We want to get out of judgment of ourselves and others. And we go about doing this, and there's a saying there's a principle or a very beautiful quote that we have shared in our Accelerated Business School Money and You program. You want to surround yourself who ask more of you than you do, and we do correction without invalidation of self or others. We can correct. We're not talking about doing things that is not acceptable and then saying it's okay and not judge. We are saying to correct each other, correct yourself without invalidating yourself or others. This is a very, very crucial part. Judgments and shame and guilt, they all come under this. Anytime we go into these 3 dynamics, which is usually the ego game telling you that you are doing some things, your mind is telling you that you are wrong and all of that. That's your ego mind telling you. Your mind that is belonging to a higher consciousness will tell you it's okay. Now let's do it again. What can you correct? What can you go wrong with? What can you do differently right now? That is the authentic self that goes to the new level of consciousness to move forward. Is it easy? No. Can you practice it? Yes. So this is where you want to go towards in life. Correction without invalidation of self or others. Focus on the love. The love is the love in us. The love in me and the love in you is the same. I personally believe that every human being in this world is capable of loving each other unconditionally without any expectations for the sake that we are showing up as human beings for each other. Only the mind, the ego, that will tell you otherwise, that there is differences in color, in race, in creed, in religion. I'm greater than you in finance, in my greatness, in my intelligence. I told you about the 5 intelligence. The mind will tell you which is greater than the other. The mind will tell you that someone with higher financial intelligence will look down at another one, and another one in higher spiritual intelligence will look down at another one. Another one with higher environmental intelligence will look down at another one. And that is actually the real factor that's kind of detaching or dividing the world right now, and I'm getting a new distinction on it. I love it when I do these sessions it's like a monologue sometimes, because now we're talking to camera. You get to realize that, wow, this is going on in the world. So the 5 intelligence fighting with each other in the ego space is right now dividing the world. What we need to do is allow the innately available love in each one of us. It's arousable in us. I was just talking about yesterday to a group of ladies about Hitler, the name that many people dread to even say or think. When he was playing with his grandchildren or children, if you see the videos, you'll see them, how loving he was. It's like, is that Hitler? Does love exist in him? It does, my friend. It does in every human being. And I feel that that is the one thing, if you want to say, that takes away the mind and the body. If you take it out, if you want to detach yourself from the mind and the body, the ability to love is the gift that Almighty or the higher source have given us. How much are we using it to stay in connection, stay in connectivity, to love and nurture relationships at a whole new level? It's not only blood relationship that matters. We are all in one DNA from one source. How much are we going to allow that to come together and express it? Express it in any shape, size, or form you want, but express it. Be it a text, be it a verbal, be it a recording, anything that you feel. Just do a video recording and say, I love you to someone and send it today. I think that's going to be a beautiful expression that you can take away from today's session. To anyone and everyone that you feel you honor them and you love them and you appreciate them, tell them. You know, there's been so many situations that people have regretted that they have not said, I love you to someone, and they go. Honestly, when they go, it doesn't matter to them anymore. But the one staying suffers in guilt and in shame sometimes. So we need to come out of all these unnecessary situations that the mind and the body causes us, and stay in our higher self, in our true self, in the self that knows the drama that the mind and the body is creating for us, to really step out and assess that this is what's happening, and then give all the love that we can to nurture the mind and the body in us and around us. And that will give us a new sense of purpose and clarity in the way that we live our life. So thanks so much for joining us today. And I trust this has given you value, and you want to share this video with your friends and your loved ones, because we really want to acknowledge the love in us, the peace in us, the joy in us, innately available in us. Peace, joy, and love is available in me and in you. And you are here to demonstrate just that Go ahead and do that with your friends and family today, and all your people that you know in social media. And you want to put I love you in the chat box as we close this session. Put in the chat box I love you, and demonstrate your love for yourself by declaring that for yourself as well. Thank you, and we'll see you soon in the next session with another guest who will join us. As I said, the Global Peace Series will have the first session run with me, with you, as a conversation, and then we'll move on to the next 3 weeks with special guests, peacemakers and global peace leaders, sharing themselves, their journey, and also their take on global peace in the world. So this is Dr. Azeeza Jalaludeen, founder and chief mentor of Go Global Business School. We stand for global peace through global business, and all our endeavors are aligned with that. Thank you, and we see you next week. Peace, greetings, and a blessed week ahead. Bye for now.